What if the reason you can't stop thinking about them has almost nothing to do with them? Maybe you're washing a plate. Maybe you're driving home in silence. Maybe it's late at night and the house is finally quiet. And then, there they are. Not in your living room, not in your inbox, not on your calendar, but right here, inside your mind. An ex you haven't seen in years. A friend who disappeared without an explanation. A colleague whose words still sting. Someone who hurt you, someone you miss, someone you're angry at, someone you don't even like anymore. And yet your mind won't let them go. And it can feel like a kind of private torture because you didn't invite them. You didn't ask for this. Sometimes you've done everything you can to move on, but your mind keeps replaying scenes like an old movie you never chose to watch. If that's happening to you, I want to say this gently. It doesn't mean you're broken. It doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean you're too much. It may just mean your mind is still holding something, and it doesn't know how to put it down yet. Tonight, we're going to look at this through a Zen Buddhist lens. Not as a lecture, not as a sermon. More like a quiet conversation in a living room, with the lights low, where somebody finally understands what you've been carrying. Zen has a simple, radical idea. You don't have to fight your thoughts to be free. Sometimes freedom comes from changing how you relate to them. So if there's a person who won't leave your head, let's not treat that as a personal failure. Let's treat it as information, and let's see what it's trying to show you. Before we go further, a quick note from the heart. This is not therapy, and it's not a replacement for professional support, especially if what you're carrying feels overwhelming or tied to deep trauma. What this is a gentle set of teachings and practices that many people have used to find a little more space inside themselves. Zen often uses a simple image. Your mind is like the sky. Thoughts are like weather. Clouds can be dark. Clouds can be heavy. But the sky doesn't panic because a cloud appears. The sky has room. And the practice is not to force the cloud away, but to remember you are the sky. So tonight, we're going to explore 7 reasons why someone might keep returning in your thoughts. And then we'll walk through a Zen path of release. Not a dramatic release, not a big breakthrough promise, but the kind of release that feels like unclenching your jaw without realizing you were clenching it all day. Every few minutes, I'll invite you to breathe, to check your shoulders, to come back to this moment. Because this isn't just information, it's a practice. Let me introduce someone. I'll call her Linda. Linda is in her early 60s. Her kids are grown. Her house is quieter than it used to be. From the outside, her life looks stable. But at night, when she turns off the lights, her mind turns on. And there's one person who shows up again and again. Sometimes it's a memory from years ago. Sometimes it's an argument that never got resolved. Sometimes it's a sentence that still hurts. Linda told me something that stayed with me. She said, "I don't even want them back. I just want my mind back." Maybe you felt that too. And maybe the hardest part is this. The more you try not to think about them, the more you think about them. Zen has a saying that points right at this. What you resist persists. Pause. So instead of trying to slam the door on the thought, Zen teaches something softer. Notice the thought, name it, and see what it's made of. Let's walk through the 7 reasons, and as we do, see if any one of them feels like it's describing your situation, quietly, honestly, without judgment. Reason 1, attachment disguised as love. When a person won't leave your mind, the first thing we often tell ourselves is, I must really love them. I must miss them. They must be important. And sometimes that's true. But Zen makes a gentle distinction. Love brings softness. Attachment brings turbulence. Love in its cleanest form feels spacious. You can wish someone well without needing to control them. Attachment feels tight. It feels like your chest narrows. Attachment can look like love, but it's mixed with fear. Fear of being replaced, fear of being forgotten, fear that your happiness depends on them. And you can often tell the difference by one simple question. When you think of them, do you feel more peace or more agitation? If the thought makes your stomach sink, if it makes you check your phone, if it makes you replay what they're doing without you, that's not a sign you're deeply romantic. That's a sign your nervous system is holding on. Linda noticed this. She said, "When I think about them, I don't feel love. I feel like I'm reaching for something that isn't there." Zen would call that a kind of grasping. And the thing about grasping is, it burns. There's an old image sometimes used in these teachings. It's like holding a hot coal. Not to warm your hands, but because you don't know how to put it down. And the longer you hold it, the more it hurts you. So the first step isn't to shame yourself, it's simply to tell the truth. Maybe this isn't love. Maybe this is attachment. Reason 2, unfinished emotional business. Zen and Buddhist teachings more broadly often talk about the idea that some things remain unfinished inside us. Not because we're doomed, not because we're being punished, but because the heart doesn't close a chapter just because time passes. Sometimes someone stays in your mind because something with them never truly completed. Maybe there was no real goodbye. Maybe you never got to say what you needed to say. Maybe you swallowed your feelings just to keep things civil. Or maybe there's guilt. Not loud guilt. Quiet guilt. The kind you feel when you're alone in the car. The kind that shows up as a thought at 3 in the morning. Linda realized this was part of it for her. She wasn't just thinking about the person. She was thinking about the moment she didn't speak up. The moment she stayed quiet. The moment she abandoned her own truth. And now her mind was replaying it. Not to torture her, but because some part of her still wanted to heal that moment. Here's a question Zen might ask, very softly. What was never said? Not to send a message, not to reopen a door, just to notice what your heart didn't get to express. Sometimes the person in your mind is a symbol for a sentence you never spoke, and your mind keeps bringing them back, hoping you'll finally say it, at least to yourself. Reason 3, the mirror, what they trigger in you. Zen is full of mirror teachings, not in a blamey way, not in a everything is your fault way, more like this. Other people can reveal parts of us we haven't fully met yet. Sometimes the person who occupies your mind is connected to a quality you haven't made peace with in yourself. Maybe they were confident, and that irritated you. Maybe they were selfish, and it haunted you. Maybe they were emotionally distant, and it made you feel small. Or maybe they had something you told yourself you weren't allowed to have, a voice, a boundary, a life that didn't revolve around making others comfortable. Linda noticed she kept thinking about one specific thing, how easily this person could dismiss her. And over time, she realized she wasn't only angry at them, she was grieving how often she dismissed herself. How often she told herself, don't make waves, don't be difficult, just let it go. So here's a Zen-style inquiry, not harsh, just honest. What quality in them hits you the hardest? Because it lives in you too, not identical, but related. If they seem cold, where have you gone numb? If they seem controlling, where are you afraid to feel uncertain? If they seem free, where do you feel trapped? When you find the thread, the grip often loosens because the mind no longer needs that person as a screen. It starts meeting the real issue more directly, with compassion. Reason 4, attachment to an outcome. This one is so common and so human. Sometimes someone won't leave your head because your mind is still chasing an ending, an apology, an explanation, a different outcome. A final conversation where you're finally understood. Your mind replays scenarios like, if I had said this, if I had stood up for myself, if I could just make them realize. This can happen after a breakup, after a family conflict, after being misunderstood at work, after being dismissed in a way that made you feel invisible, and your mind keeps writing and rewriting the script, trying to get a clean ending. Zen points to something simple. Suffering grows when we cling to a specific outcome. instead of meeting what is actually here. Not because reality is nice, sometimes reality is painful. But the mind's endless rehearsals can add a second layer of pain. The first pain is what happened. The second pain is the argument you keep having in your head, night after night. Linda said it like this: I keep wanting them to understand, but they're not even here. And that was her moment of clarity. Sometimes the mind is trying to get water from a dry well, not because you're foolish, because you're longing, because you're human. Here's the question: what ending are you still trying to force? Just notice. No judgment. Reason 5. You've been living inside the thought. Zen offers one of the most freeing ideas. You are not your thoughts. A thought is something your mind produces, like a sound, like an image, like a passing weather pattern. But when a person keeps returning, it's easy to start believing the thought is you. I miss them becomes my identity. I was betrayed becomes my home. And then every thought about them feels important, urgent, like it demands action. But Zen invites a small shift in language. Instead of, I miss them, try, there is a thought about missing them. Instead of, I can't believe they did that, try, there is a memory right now. This may sound tiny, but it changes everything because it creates space. It's the difference between being caught in a river and standing on the bank watching the river flow. Zen practice is not about having no thoughts. It's about not drowning in them. So next time the person appears in your mind, you might experiment with a whisper, thinking, remembering, replaying, not to suppress it, to recognize it. Reason 6. The illusion that this will last forever. When a person keeps returning in your mind, it can feel permanent. Like, I'll always feel this. I'll never get free. This will haunt me forever. Zen gently challenges that, not with forced positivity, not with platitudes. With a simple truth, everything changes. Moods change, seasons change, bodies change. Even the most intense emotions shift, sometimes slowly, sometimes suddenly, but they shift. The mind, when it's hurting, loves dramatic conclusions. It says, this is how it will be now. But Zen says, notice what's true and notice what's changing. Even right now as you listen, something is changing in your body. Breath is moving, sound is moving, time is moving. So here's a gentle question. Has any feeling in your life stayed exactly the same forever? Pause. If you've lived long enough to be listening to this, you already know the answer. You have survived feelings you once thought would break you. That doesn't erase the pain, but it reminds you this isn't a life sentence. It's a season, and seasons move. Reason 7, a deeper assignment, what this is trying to teach you. Zen sometimes invites a perspective shift that can feel almost too simple. What if the person who won't leave your mind isn't there to punish you, but to reveal something? Not they were sent to you, not mystical, not dramatic, just this. The relationships that impact us most often touch the places in us that still need care. So instead of asking, how do I stop thinking about them? Zen might ask, what is this thought asking me to see? Maybe this person is pointing you toward a boundary you never learned to set, a voice you never gave yourself permission to use, a grief you kept buried under being strong, a pattern of abandoning your own needs to keep peace. Linda discovered that her repeated thoughts weren't really about the person. They were about one moment, a moment where she didn't choose herself. And every replay was her spirit saying, please, don't do that again. That's the assignment, not to get them back, not to win, not to prove, but to wake up in a new way, to become more honest, more whole, more gentle with yourself. So here's the question, and it's a big one. If this thought is a doorway, what is it leading you toward? You don't have to answer perfectly. Just let the question sit beside you. The path out, 5 Zen practices. Now we move from understanding to practice. And I want to say this clearly. The goal is not to never think of them again. The goal is to stop being imprisoned by the thought. A person can appear in the mind, and the mind can stay free. That's Zen. So here are 5 practices, gentle, repeatable, realistic. Not as rules, as options, as invitations. Mindful observation, stop wrestling. When the thought appears, the instinct is to push it away. But Zen says, don't wrestle the cloud, just notice it. You might say quietly in your mind, thinking? Not annoyed, not dramatic, just noticing, like you'd notice a bird outside the window. The thought comes, the thought goes, and you stay here. Mini guided moment. Right now, let's practice for 10 seconds. If any thought is present, any image, any name, just label it, thinking, and return to the sound of this voice. That's it. That's the practice. Small, but powerful. Practice 2, investigate with compassion. What's underneath? Once you can observe without wrestling, you can investigate gently, not like an interrogation, more like carrying curiosity. Ask one of these. What am I holding on to? What am I afraid to feel? What story am I trying to finish? And when an answer comes, don't judge it. If the answer is, I'm afraid I wasn't enough, or I'm afraid I wasted my time, or I'm afraid I'm alone now, that's not shameful, that's human. Zen doesn't shame the heart for being tender. Zen simply asks the heart to be honest. Linda's answer was, I'm afraid I'll repeat the same pattern. And when she saw that, something softened, because the mind wasn't asking her to obsess. It was asking her to protect her future with awareness. Practice 3, letting go through. Acceptance, open the hand. Zen often uses the image of an open hand. You don't have to throw the thought away. You don't have to grip it either. You can hold it gently. You can say, this is here. Acceptance is not approval. It's not saying what happened was okay. Acceptance is just stopping the internal argument with reality, because that argument is exhausting. And strangely, when the arguing stops, the mind often loosens on its own. Mini guided moment. If the person appears right now, see if you can say, okay, you're here, and I'm still here too. Practice 4, 4330, redirect with intention. Use it as a bell of mindfulness. Zen has a beautiful trick. Turn the problem into a reminder. When the thought appears, instead of spiraling, you let it become a bell that says, come back. So you do something simple. Feel your feet on the ground. Notice one sound in the room. Take one slow breath and return to now. Over time, something changes. The person who once felt like a mental intruder becomes a cue for presence. Not because they deserve that role, but because you deserve peace. Linda began practicing this while driving. Every time the thought appeared at a red light, she'd feel the steering wheel in her hands. She'd exhale. She'd look at the sky, and little by little, the red light became a meditation bell. Not perfect, but kinder. And kinder is a real change. Practice 5, loving kindness, metta. Transform the emotional charge. Now we come to a practice that can feel surprising, especially if the person in your mind hurt you. Loving kindness isn't pretending. It isn't excusing. It isn't saying everything was fine. It's releasing yourself from the poison of endless resentment or craving. It's choosing not to carry the hot coal. Pause. We begin with ourselves, because that's where healing starts. Mini-guided metta, slow. If it feels okay, soften your eyes or close them. Take a breath. Silently repeat, may I be safe. May I be at ease. May I be free from the suffering in my own time. Now, if you can, without forcing, bring the other person to mind, just as an image, not as a story, and repeat, may you be safe. May you be at ease. May you be free from suffering. And now widen it beyond both of you. May all beings be safe. May all beings be at ease. one breath. If that felt hard, that's okay. Even a small willingness counts. Zen is not about being saintly, it's about being free. The stone in the river, closing metaphor. Let me leave you with a Zen image that I love. Imagine your mind is a river, and this person is like a stone thrown into it. At first, there's disturbance, ripples, splashing, turbulence. If the river fights the stone, what happens? More turbulence. But if the river keeps flowing, steadily, naturally, one of two things happens. The stone settles to the bottom and becomes part of the riverbed, or the current carries it and it moves on. Either way, the river continues. Your practice is to keep flowing, not by forcing, not by pretending, not by trying to control your mind with brute strength, but by returning again and again to simple awareness. Breath, feet, this moment, and the next moment, and the next. That's the way freedom grows, quietly. Linda still thinks about that person sometimes, but she told me, it's not a storm anymore, it's a cloud. And that's a real transformation, not perfection, just space, not forgetting, just loosening, not erasing the past, just reclaiming the present. Final close, gentle open ending. So tonight, if they visit your mind again, see if you can meet the thought like the sky meets a cloud. No panic, no shame, no wrestling. Just this soft recognition, a thought is here, and I don't have to become it. May you find a little more room inside your own life. May you find steadiness in the middle of what's unfinished. And may every visitor in your mind become a doorway back to presence. Until next time, be gentle with your heart.